Hi, thanks for tuning to Astro Awani and you are watching In-Realty. My name is Linawati Adnan and he is Said Faino Omar.
Hi guys.
Well, in the spirit of Christmas, both Dino and I will be bringing you a whole lot of surprises.
Well, we'd like to wish you up front a very Merry Christmas. Now, what's special about this program? 3 segments as usual, but in the first segment you'll be with me and we'll be talking about the smart things. In the second segment you'll be with Lina and she'll be taking you to have a look at something that's quite cool. In the third segment, still with her, and she'll be talking about
Oops. Well, if you want to know what that bleep is all about, stay tuned up until the end.
only on
In-Realty.
Jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Hi guys, nice to see you again. Now welcome to segment 1 with me. Now segment 1 is brought to you from Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. No, you don't think this house behind me looks like Hogwarts? Well, I'll tell you why I think it's Hogwarts. Look down. My feet. I'm barefoot. It's hot, it's blazing hot out here in the sun. It's about 11:15 in the morning, so you know what kind of heat I'm talking about, but I'm barefooted. It's because the ground I'm standing on, it's completely cool. It is witchcraft. That's the only thing I could think of to describe what I'm going through right now. But it's not witchcraft. It's in fact a technology called Smart&Cool homes, and we want to know how this has been achieved, not just here, but all over this complex here. So to answer our questions about the Smart&Cool homes, we have the Lee father and son team. This is Lincoln Lee.
Hi.
And also little Leonard.
Hi.
Nice to have you guys on the show. It is impossible to have this kind of temperature under my feet, yet have that on top of my head. How does this work?
If you step onto the turf and tell them which is hotter, whether the concrete is hotter or the turf is hotter.
Okay, follow me. This is what I'm doing. This is, honest to God, the grass is actually warmer than this surface I'm standing on right now. Why?
It's a heat sink theory. You see? Heat sinks, what we do is that we actually conduct the heat from the concrete, a simple normal concrete, and because tires, we use discarded tires, which is using the waste to actually help to cool the whole building down, plus the surrounding area, which is concrete. And what we do is that the tires are actually synthetic rubbers nowadays, which has the highest content is still carbon black.
Yeah.
That will actually conduct the heat from the concrete and then release it to the earth, which is cooler.
So we are literally standing on a bed of tires.
Yeah. Yes. Underneath it. And this is only 1 layer. So it depends a lot on how many layers. If this is 2 layers, it will perform better. If it's 3 layers, it will even perform better. So we are here to remove heat from concrete. And the Roman invented the concrete, say 400 AD. And that's about 1,600 years
ago. Yeah.
Okay. Then the Malaysians were the first person and the only person that cools down concrete without any source of energy.
So that Malaysian is you?
Malaysians. We must be proud to be Malaysian.
Yeah.
A heat sink is found anywhere where you found there is a lot of heat coming up. For example, your car radiators, your cooling coil in the aircon, the amplifiers, solid heat sink which is at the bed of the power transistors, even your handphone, and even the cameras or any equipment, there is always an introduction of heat sink. And here we introduced heat sink into the building industry. Of course, we can't use aluminum because it's too expensive. That's why we use tires. Yeah,
because it's waste anyway, otherwise in other industries. So you basically, this is recycling, but on a more scientific and technical level. No, but then the realization of it is basically shown here on your t-shirt and on Leonard's t-shirt, and I understand that Leonard played a role in coming up with this artwork. Maybe you want to explain why?
Okay, you see, here is the earth, right? It is shaped of an ice cream because it's about to like melt away. And here is the clock, which is actually the sun. It is the countdown until the earth is totally gone. So what is here is the sun He's telling the Earth he got only about 20 years until the Earth is gone. So that is why we put it as
an ice cream, because it will disappear.
It will melt away.
Right, I see. So you understand this philosophy, and it's great that your kids, and in fact your entire family and the staff that you have here working in the house understands this philosophy. It's not just about reducing the heat, but it's also about creating a microclimate within this area. Tell us about that.
Okay, microclimates is why you notice that when they say concrete jungle, you already have what we call a heat island effect. Yeah. Where the concrete actually absorbs the heat and hold the heat and release the radiation. And that is unbearable to a lot of people. But here what we're trying to do is that if you can see around here, for example this wall. This wall is actually made up of car tires.
The wall is made of car tires. What's underneath this is car tires, and I understand the spawn here as well is car tires, yeah?
And the house. It's nothing magic. Okay, it's nothing rocket science. It's just simple elementary science, fundamental science, and that is to remove the heat from the concrete. Once you can remove the heat from the concrete, the pressure here is lower because heat creates pressure.
Correct. Yeah.
So once it's lower, the wind will flow.
Wind will come in.
Yeah.
Right. I see.
And then you create a cooler atmosphere. And that's why we call it micro, because we are doing within here. We can't go beyond that. But if every one of us Malaysians start doing it, okay, start changing,
then
it will be a very big
not
scale.
So micro anymore. Then it becomes a little bit bigger, yeah?
Right. And I think house buyers should ask for their rights from the developers to make sure that they have houses that is comfortable. Imagine if Malaysians, all the houses were built this way, we will save billions of dollars because the government is subsidizing us 45% of our energy. For example, we have here photovoltaics. This photovoltaic was first installed. This is the first in the country. All right, and imagine that TMB is owing us money every month
because of the surplus energy that you produce.
We are negative if you contrast them together.
Of course, yeah.
Because we don't use air condition. Air condition contributes 60 to 70%.
Yeah.
So numbers are very important.
Yeah. Clearly, it is an effective technology, and you save money in building costs as well because you're using used materials. You're basically
not just that. We actually able to reduce concrete, reduce steel, reduce labor.
Give us a ballpark figure of savings first.
Okay.
In percentage.
In percentage is how you design. If your engineer is good and work along with us, we should be able to reduce something from 10 to 40% of the structure cost. That is the only cost that you can save. That is the CAPEX, capital expenses. You save 30. But when you talk about OPEX, operations expenses, you save tremendously. By just saving the OPEX, in 20 years, you can build another house with just the saving of the energy cost. So imagine there's an ROI in your building. In the building industry, it's about nearly 50% of the carbon actually contribute from the building industry.
Now, speaking of carbon emission, very quickly, we only have about 30 seconds. You were telling me earlier about, a lot of people might be asking, where do the tires come from? So perhaps you could share with us that briefly.
The tires, you actually get it for free. If you go and collect from the tire shop, they will give it for you for free. Because if they send this tire to a landfill, they have to pay a lot of money toward the landfill.
To dispose of it,
To dispose of it. So it's actually a good thing to do because...
And we have several companies, let's not mention any names, but bringing in tires from overseas as a form of income for them because they get paid to dispose of these tires. But disposal of tires is of course something that pollutes the earth.
Yes.
So this is an avenue that one should be looking at also, right?
Right. We can actually get it from overseas and get an income. At the same time, we dispose it properly.
Properly. Get it?
That's a very important thing. Some of them take it to burn in their cement factory. As a form of fuel. But that is very dangerous because you are taking away, say, like Japan or Taiwan tire waste and come here and let go
and polluting our air. Well, this technology clearly works, and I wish I had more time to try to find out more. But then that's that's where Lina comes in the second segment. Whilst I get the cool floor, but the hot sun, she gets the cool everything inside the house. But here's the message: do try to see how you can apply this technology to your own home, because I promise you, it is easy to do, and it is cheap, and it is very, very cool, as you will see in the second segment. So stay with us on In-Realty.